Okay, hello. I'm Alan Friesen. I'm here with the lovely Shelby MacLeod. I don't know if you know much about Shelby, but she is a political maven. Is that what we should call you? She knows a lot about politics. She's been, especially on the provincial forum. She worked with Clint Dunford for 25 years. Is that
Well, and John Gogo.
and John Gogo before,
Yeah.
and then she watches all of the municipal municipal meetings. She's right up on top of politics, and she is an amazing resource. Her and I know each other from many different ways, but mostly from SHENLA as of late.
That's correct.
Right? Yeah. And SHENLA is the Social Health Equity Network Lethbridge, and they are trying to do really good work in terms of getting people fed, getting people safe, getting people housed. Those kind of things are what they're all about. And so I am interviewing her. She has a role with the Lethbridge Food Bank, and she has a role with CMHA and with SHENLA as well. But first of all, I want to put in my little plug. Okay, I have this program called the Caring Employers Healthy Teams Collaborative, in which we can provide benefit programs that are at big company pricing for small companies. And so the thought process that we have is we want those tools to keep people well, to keep them healthy, and we want to support and caring employers who value their team members and want those team members to stay healthy. For the team members' benefit, health is great for everybody, right? But also for that agency, for that company, that they are able to more contribute to what the clients the company's trying to serve, is what I'm trying to say there. So Shelby.
Yes.
All right. First of all, tell us about Lethbridge Food Bank. That's where we are today. Right. And we're going to walk you over and show you what's in a food hamper package. But right now, tell us about your role here with Lethbridge Food Bank.
Well, Lethbridge Food Bank, I've been a member for over 12 years. When I left government, I first of all needed to power down, and because I was a little too busy at, driving back and forth to Edmonton weekly, actually. And my boss, Clint Dunford, we really cared about people. So when I left government, I was missing that element. So then I got a phone call saying, would I join the Lethbridge Food Bank? And I thought, well, I'll go for one meeting, and stayed for 12 years. So anyway, long story short, I care about people. I look at people, and in my role in government, one of my jobs was to try to figure out how we could best help an individual, people of a group, or whatever you want to call it, to have a better access to income supports, education supports, food supports, housing supports, and it's all one big ball of yarn. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't have one, you can't have the other sometimes, because it's complicated.
Definitely.
So here we are at the Lethbridge Food Bank, and I'm the secretary to the board, and I'm still a kind of a policy wonk. I'm a hands-on, caring kind of person. I'm not just policy. It has to work for the people in your community, whether it's in Lethbridge, Tabor, Milk River, wherever you live.
You bet.
There's got to be supports that are adequate for people.
Definitely. And I think we share the same vision. We would like everybody, enough for all, right? There's enough. We just got to get it distributed to the right people, so that everybody can be fed, everybody can be safe, everybody can be housed, right?
That's correct. One thing that I learned when I worked at the Alberta legislature was the number of people, we're smart people, because it's 2023 now, but at that time it was 2005. But we forget how to ask. We forget to say, what is out there to support me, my neighbor next door, my cousin in somewhere, everywhere, any Alberta. And there's great programs, child health benefit, Alberta senior benefits, all kinds of housing benefits. And right now, housing and food insecurity seem to be at the fore. And they actually always have been. And so now we're called to action because we have a crisis.
Definitely so.
There's not enough housing. And so how do we solve that? Rent supplements. That's a great idea, because maybe there are people who might rent out a part of their house, but they need the person needs more a supplement to afford that rent.
Definitely.
Or an apartment, or whatever the case may be. So that's where I come in, because of the luxury that I had of knowing people, and I could say, hey, Alan, so what kind of an employer are you? Are you a good employer? Are you a great employer? And we can be good, but we all want to strive to be great.
Agreed. One of the programs that's through SHENLA that they've done is about determining what is the word? Living wage is in Lethbridge, and they're doing that again. And it varies all over the province. But the thought is you could register if you are meeting the requirements to be a living wage employer. And it's not just wage, it's wage plus benefits, right? And the benefits hopefully are contributing to the health and wellness of the folks, right? Having them have better lives because of that. And so those combination of things allow somebody to be an employer of choice, an employer who's supporting a living wage. And then we want everybody to have a living wage, right? That would be the goal. That would be the ideal.
Correct. But we don't have to register. You can just be a great employer.
True.
So let's say the living wage that's going to be coming out next week is $21.75. So if I'm paying my employees right now $17, I think, ooh, my bottom line, I can't carve out any more money. Right. How do I do this? Oh, well, maybe I'll talk to Alan or look at a benefit plan, or I'll have a health spending account. That all goes into it. Then maybe I'll say, you know what? There's days of the weeks in the certain months that we're a little bit soft. So maybe you give them half day off here or a full day off. That's part of the benefit package. And when an employee is punching that clock and they get a half a day or a full day off and a paycheck to go along with it, it increases their mental health immeasurably. Definitely. Because they feel valued, they feel respected.
Definitely.
And so then you have a happier person returning to work the next week or the next day.
And sometimes single moms, they need that time to make sure that their kids get to the dentist and their kids get the care they need, or just to spend time with those kids.
That's right.
Right? So,
yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. Okay, so SHENLA, which we're on, and we're big supporters of what we're trying to do in the community. Lethbridge Food Bank. Shelby also has a huge role with CMHA.
Well, I happen to be chair of the board, and I also sit on the Alberta Division Board, again, because I like to look to the future and how can we build that bridge, that roadway better for people of tomorrow, as well as the people of today.
Definitely.
And mental wellness, we all need mental wellness. It's just how the life goes. If we know where to go and access programs, and if there's the right program to meet the needs of the community or the person, then you have a better community.
Definitely.
And so be it food security or someone to talk to, 211, where I can go for support. You can call 311. I guess the girls at Lethbridge don't want to hear a whole bunch of depression. Or if you're even feeling suicidal, there's the 988 call line.
Definitely.
So to help people not be alone, because we're all in this together. We need to work as a community so that we can support each other. And we have a city council who's trying to be responsive. We have a county council who's trying to be responsive, because not all the people that come to Lethbridge are from the city.
Definitely.
And the Blood Reserve right now, we got a great program going with the Blood Reserve, and that collaboration is so important to keeping people healthy.
Definitely so. We all, as you said, we're all in this together, right? We all live with poverty, even if we don't live in poverty, right? Yeah. We all live with mental health disorders or mental health challenges, even if we don't know it's not.
Or just even frustration.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a disease type of thing, but we get frustrated and we don't have anyone to talk to, because the family unit isn't like it used to be.
No, it's true.
So we need support, and that's where SHENLA comes in on policy work.
Would you agree with this? I believe that disconnection in our bodies is disease, and disconnection in our community is social disease. Would you agree with that?
I would absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
And so the more connection we can have, the better that we can look after each other. The system navigator system that we have, the City of Lethbridge and CMHA has done the system navigators, and they have 3 different levels to that. I'm like a third, like a rookie, a volunteer community member. But the idea is we would learn about resources in a community. If we're having a conversation with you, we can say, hey, here's a resource that might be of help to you, right?
That's right.
Like remember Christina was talking about that emergency funding type thing, right? To help somebody stay in their home. If there's some times, in just life in general, you have your car breaks down, and then that cost of that repair means that you don't live in your house anymore, right? That happens. Or
you don't have enough money to pay your bills or food by proper food, not luxury food, but proper food. So that's where the food bank comes in, because we have enough for all. And one of my goals at the Lethbridge Food Bank is we should have zero waste.
Definitely.
The food that comes in that's perishable, we should have a menu where it can go.
Definitely.
And so we have mobile food support.
Or we process it, we dehydrate it or freeze dry it or do something to preserve that food long-term when we can get it.
That's
deployed.
right. Well, that's where we could get into community partners.
Yes.
Because dehydration, we get into health concerns. But if you, Alan, came and took some of our tomatoes that we have in plethora, thanks to Broxburn food support, then you would have great, nutritious, dried tomatoes to put into your soup.
Definitely.
And, in this day and age of technology, every morning when I get up, I watch the cooking shows.
Yes.
And I get an idea of what I'm going to make for supper or something.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how you go to your cupboard and there's beans, peas, and lentils in there. And I really didn't use them properly.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm including beans in our menus. I'm making soup, I'm making stews, and it's sustainable and it's great.
Super nutritious,
Yep.
low calorie, high
Fiber.
nutritional
Yep.
density, high fiber.
Yep.
Like, there's so many food choices that we have that when you just learn how to do it, right?
Yep.
Mushrooms. I love mushrooms and making food with mushrooms, and they're so nutrient dense, so low calorie, and so have so much nutrient value to them. It's incredible. So yes. Okay, do we want to show them what a package looks like?
Sure.
Okay, how it looks like. I'm going to bring the computer up. I'll try and make it not so shaky. Okay, so I'll put it here. I think that'll work. Can we see that from there?
Maybe if you
There we go.
Okay.
So that's what a hamper looks like. What's all in this hamper?
Well, we got beans, we got pasta, we got some convenience like itchy bend sort of thing for the person on the go. We got mac and cheese, we got sauce, peanut butter, which is a great thing. And then we also have perishables, which we're not showing you today, but we pride ourselves on having lots of great perishables. And especially in the summertime, we have a plethora of tomatoes and great healthy food for families and individuals.
Nice. Yeah, beautiful. And tomatoes, man, fresh garden tomatoes. There's nothing
Yeah,
better,
that's right. Yeah.
And then this is a little snack package over here, right?
Yeah, and every hamper gets a snack pack, and it has in it crackers and little things to go. And especially for families with children, that's really important that kids have access to wholesome food.
Definitely. So, and there's no shame in going to the food bank if you need resources for you or your kiddos, right?
Absolutely correct.
That's what it's here for. There's probably times in everybody's life where there just isn't enough food in the fridge, right? And in those cases, the food bank is an ally, a support to you. So, yeah.
One of the things that we pride ourselves at the Lethbridge Food Bank is we have mindful munchies. We do about 12,000 bagged lunches a month.
Amazing.
Yes.
And that's all through the school system, right?
Yes. And so we started out small and it grew and grew. So with our volunteer component, they come in, they make the sandwiches, we put them in the bags, and out they go. People deliver them to 30 schools now. And so there's children out there, for whatever reason, they don't have a nutritious meal for lunch.
Right.
So this way, these children can eat, settle down, and make it the environment in the classroom. Because when you're hungry and hyperactive, it's not good for anyone, especially the child.
No. And how can a young, 47%, I believe the number is 47% of our Indigenous kids live in poverty, right?
Well, a lot of kids. I'm not just going to pick on Indigenous, but it's a high percentage.
Yeah.
That's correct.
I thought the number was 24 in our community, 24% overall, and 47% of Indigenous, right? So whatever those numbers are, it's way too damn many, right? Because how can a little person go to school and function well if they're hungry and they haven't slept well and they don't have supports that way,
correct.
right? They need that for their proper development and for their proper future, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. What else? Anything else we want to chat about?
Well, I think going back to the living wage. So
Yes.
when that numbers come out, or those numbers, I should say, comes out in, I think, November the 7th.
Yes.
I would like the Chambers of Commerce and the business groups to say, am I supporting my employees as best I can? Is there any way that I can either have extra support, like a spending account for their health and wellness, or do I give them a wage increase? A wage increase is always the best because we all have needs. And like Alan said, should your car need fixing, that's a problem. And right now in my house, I have no heat. There I am, a boiler died, and you just don't fix a boiler in 12 seconds.
No.
So I'm a living experience of what it's like to live, not outside, but it's pretty chilly. So my electrical bill, because I'm using space heaters, is going to be astronomical.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So if I was a person who was on a very low fixed income, what would I do come winter now? Because I'm using space heaters.
Definitely.
And we don't think about that. So that's where, we need to be mindful of our employees and their individual conditions.
And if your business is not so much, you don't have the revenue, there's other ways, like where you're saying about giving a little bit of time off, right? Okay,
yeah.
Here's a point where I'm going to keep you at this level, but here you can get this time off to help you take care of yourself, or you spend some time with your kids, or you get to dental appointments or medical appointments.
That's
or
correct.
Whatever you need in that regard.
Yeah.
So there's other ways other than wage, other than benefits, that you can also contribute to the well-being of your team, right?
Correct.
I think then who that I like to work with are caring employers, because they recognize that their employees are who are making them their profit, right?
Yep,
they're the
that's
ones that are
correct.
looking after their customers.
That's correct.
And those folks, the employers that see that, will want to do their best they can to try and keep those folks healthy and well, right?
That's correct.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing another announcement later in November about the new living wage calculations. So so that's going to happen through, I believe that's going to be Sharon that's going to be doing
Yes,
that.
correct.
Sharon Yannicke, Dr. Yannicke, will be making that announcement, and I'm going to be assisting her in doing that. Anything else we want to add, Shelby?
Well, we really appreciate the support of the community at Lethbridge Food Bank and Canadian Mental Health as well, because I do kind of wear two hats. But this community is wonderful. You have come to support us whenever we are in need. And I will not say that we're going to eradicate food banks, because that would be false. We'll always need food banks or food sharing supports. I like to think of the food bank as a food sharing.
That's a beautiful way to express it. Yeah.
And you shouldn't have to think that you're down on your luck. If you need any kind of support, give us a call, and because the community wants to help people have a better life.
Definitely, you bet. And for those of us that are in a prosperous situation, or let's call it that, you got a house, you can go in there, you can close the door and be safe in that house. There's heat, there's food in the fridge. The gratitude that you have for being in there, that, just being aware of that, right? Your situation is different than other people, right?
Well,
so
last night, because I had dilly-dallied and I needed to go to the grocery store for a couple of things, a woman has adopted a family, and she and the lady, they were shopping, and she bought the groceries for that woman.
Beautiful.
For, I don't know if it's a one-time, I didn't get into the conversation, I just kind of listened around the edge, but I thought, isn't that nice? Like, she spent about $150, which is a lot of money.
Definitely.
But the woman was so grateful, because she said, my children will be much happier now that they know that there's food in the cupboard. Well, now, not that there isn't food in the cupboard, but sometimes it's that mental thing. We look in there and we see beans or pasta, but we don't feel like how we're going to create it. But, she was buying fruit, and she was buying, sauce to put on the pasta and all that sort of stuff. So it's a learning experience.
Not only there's the food, there's obviously somebody who cares, and
Correct.
They know somebody cares, right?
Correct.
Somebody is looking out for them and wants to support them,
That's
right?
correct.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. Yes. So if you're in a situation where you need some food security, the food bank is the place to go, and they will support you. If you're in a situation where you have enough, good for you. I'm in that situation. Well, then how can you give back? How can you contribute, right? What do you have of your excess that you might be willing to share?
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you this, but our Caring Employers Healthy Teams, we take 20% of our gross revenue and have it in a fund at the Bridges of Hope, specifically to keep people fed and safe, right? And so that's kind of where the benefit program should contribute to the health and wellness of the team members, but this is kind of contributing to the health and wellness of people outside of those teams who could also use supports, right? So,
and there's lots of creative ways. I mean,
definitely.
A company, they can do very what you're doing, and they can use it to support some of their employees should they need it, or a benefit package like you're talking about. That would be excellent. The one thing, I'm talking Lethbridge Food Bank, but we also have Interfaith Food Bank in the community, and we have plethora. I think I counted up, there's actually 12 other small food banks attached to churches. Now, because sometimes we get too much food of certain types, we share with those agencies.
Definitely. Yeah. And how important you had identified about, making sure that nothing goes to waste,
That's
right? And that's a huge, huge problem. like that we have great, beautiful tomatoes right now, or potatoes and if we store them right, if we do the right things with them, they will be able to feed somebody, provide nutrients to some people, right?
Right.
If we, otherwise they become compost, right? And that's sad.
Well, and in compost, we have a person who takes some of our aged veg and she uses it for her worm farm. So again, that's extending the life of that product.
Definitely.
It doesn't go to waste to the landfill.
Definitely. That's important too.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, there we go.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your attention and keep yourself well. And anything we want to add, Shelby?
Well, just keep on supporting each other in the community, whether it be through housing or through food or just picking up the phone or sitting somebody at a coffee shop and chatting them up.
That is a beautiful idea. Even when you're walking down the street and you see somebody that's sitting on the sidewalk that obviously is homeless, okay, say hi.
Yeah.
And then maybe offer to buy them a sandwich or something. Are you hungry? I'll go buy you a sandwich, right?
Yeah, that's right. And we got lots of agencies that are doing this. And so some agencies need support.
Yes.
I mean, I don't want to not say we don't need support at Lethbridge Food Bank. We always do. We need drivers and volunteer to make sandwiches for our children or the children of the city. And so there's a way, and there's something about when you donate your time, you feel better about yourself.
Definitely.
It brings a wellness inside of you.
You bet. Definitely so. It's good for the soul to be of value to other people.
That's
no
correct.
question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Keep yourself well. Thank you.